In life, it's important to know what kind of pain you're going to live with. That's why here at Ortho Hospitals, we let you choose what chronic condition is going to ail you for the rest of time. And you'll pay for it. Just your shorts, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the program. Today is, I don't even know, March 10th? It is Tuesday, March 10th. And the war wages on. At least they waited till the end of Black History Month to kick that one off, right? Boy, do we have a lot to talk about. You see, I think, again, I see something, and, well, it didn't hurt last time, so let's go ahead and say something. So, without further ado, adjust your shorts, prepare yourselves to get kicked in the news by the nuts. My name's Ray Stone. Let's jump on in. First of all, we're not gonna go where everybody thinks we're gonna go and start talking about war, even though I already did. Instead, I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about, and this hasn't really been in the news much lately, but sex offenders. But it's not the ones you're thinking. It's a couple of other ones. Proving that we will indeed prosecute sex offenders, but only if it's like only a handful of women. If it's like thousands and thousands of them, or millions, we don't know what the number is. Well, we won't go after them, but these guys, we will. The Alexander brothers, convicted of sex trafficking in Manhattan federal court. These guys were huge real estate tycoons in New York, and they used their wealth to lure women. I mean, they're handsome guys. It wasn't just their wealth. Probably these women wanted to be with them, but then these scallywags, oopsie-daisied, made the mistake of drugging the women, and it's like, oh, you have to, I have many questions. First of all, okay, if like 13 women come out against you, it's probably something you did. It is crazy to me, though, that this is headline news this week. Headline news today. But you know who's nowhere to be seen? For the Epsteinth time. He really puts the teen in Epstein, doesn't he? Boy, he really puts the teen in Epstein. Whew. 11, 12, 13, 14, Epstein, 16. Okay, well, a little more at home. Georgia votes in high-stakes primary for Marjorie Taylor Greene's House seat. If you remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene said she's retiring from the Senate. Is she in the House of Representatives? And, you know, I got to tell you, I think she's right. The reason she retired, and so this doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a fucking lick of difference, except if they can get a Republican in that backs Trump's moves, then Trump will actually be able to use the constitutional appropriation that is supposed to be used to do the things that he's doing. You know, you're not allowed to just do all that stuff, right? But it's like, okay, hold on. Oh, this is my big question, okay? I'm losing my mind over here because every time I turn around, some douchebags are up to the craziest shit of all. Bombing countries, relentlessly, illegally, bombing individual boats, relentlessly, illegally. By the way, that ship that was bombed came out on the Tim Dillon show that the ship that we torpedoed was mainly unarmed. It was doing like a ship rodeo, some demonstration in Turkey, and it was returning from an annual demonstration in Turkey where they do like little like war games, but it's more of a demonstration, and the ships are all only armed to like a very nominal percent of what they're actually capable of carrying. And on its route back home to Iran, where it was headed, it got called to bay somewhere, it got called to port somewhere for like 10 days or 11 days, was delayed. And then after it left from that delay, that gave our sub enough time to reach it. And then our sub torpedoed it and then left their soldiers in the water, all of which is so illegal according to like international treaties in the international court. But yet we do it anyway. So what does it mean? I have this long-standing theory. It means, unfortunately, for those of us who try to actually be good, we do it for ourselves. I feel like, they say that God built us in his own image. And that, to me, in religion is like, if religion is true, that seems to be true, because it certainly doesn't seem to matter if you're evil. So what good is religion if the people who preach it are actually the evil ones? Like, are they practicing the other religion, or do they just have an understanding that, quite frankly, the universe doesn't care? Like our emotional selves, the emotions, I think, are the highest form of evolution. It is a luxury that you get to feel upset about something, or happy about something, mad about something, feel love about something. It's a luxury. It's the most advanced form of experiencing the universe around you, this world around you. When it's just hunter-gatherer and you are fight or flight, I mean, you could argue those are emotional, but that's more of a survival state. Once you escape survival state, the next range of vibration is, well, how do I feel today? And that's, I think, supposed to actually guide your behavior. That should equate to some essence of morality within you. But my question that I always constantly come back to is, if that's the case, why does real evil behavior seem to run the show? And it has done so as far back as a history can recall. As far back as history, even all the way back to Mayan culture, the Aztecs, which are the Mexica. They would kill each other for sport, to appease the sun gods to grow crops, or the rain gods to grow crops. This is as far back as humanity goes, and that's not just the white man humanity. Now, the white man humanity, we do a separate kind of special thing. Back then, in the day of Tezcatlipoca and Teotihuacan, where these two cities would engage in battles, and then it was a great honor to die at the hands of a jaguar warrior, because he's a jade warrior, and he's got the head, dress, and or the eagle warrior, whatever the fuck they called him. It was a great honor to die at the hands of a great warrior, but they wouldn't go like take the other person's stuff, land and shit, right? They would just agree that, yeah, we have to fight. And so even back then, I feel like the chiefs knew it, and they would agree to it. They would sacrifice people until their temples were full of blood and the blood ran out the channels. And then once that happened, then it was okay. Now, I want to ask you this. If you've ever been near a butcher shop, holy shit, that temple must have reeked. Oh, no wonder they looked sick in that movie. Apocalypto. No, but I do have to think. I just want to tie that up and say, but don't let that fool you, because these people cannot wake up feeling good about themselves. These people must wake up, if they feel anything at all. Maybe they've completely divorced themselves of any semblance of feeling, so that they don't have to. I mean, I've done it myself. You go through some losses and you cry until you're tired of crying, and you know what, I'm done crying. And, it's like there'll be periods of time where it's like, I probably don't cry for an unhealthy length of time. I just go, I'm not going to face that. So I know you can shut it off. So maybe these people, they just shut it off, and then that's why their faces look all smooth and gross and disturbed. So anyway, bottom line, it doesn't seem like it really matters who's in Congress because the president is going to unilaterally do whatever the fuck he wants. All right, let's get into what everyone's talking about. Pete Hegseth. He loves to come out and just say all kinds of crazy shit. He says that the war will go until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated. And I don't know if you can totally and decisively defeat them without utilizing what Israel wants to do, which is to nuke them. I mean, it sounds like they threatened to use their nuclear power, which also, how come they get to have nukes and not be a part of international treaty and inspection? Like, it's just crazy. It's fucking crazy. And then if you say anything, if you ask a single question, yeah, this is rhetoric. They all just tell you, that you're anti-Semitic, which just means you're against people who speak an Islamic or Jewish or Hasidic. Was it Hasidic? Oh, I can't remember the other one. Muslim. And guess what? They all are, because they bomb each other. So you're anti-Semitic. I'm not bombing people. You are. Stealing their houses, moving in. Craziness. This war, I have this sweeping big picture. I keep getting all of these conspiracies, right? Everybody says conspiracy. So, okay. They say that Epstein, that Epstein was an agent for Israel, for the IDF. They also said he was an agent for Mossad. But let's just follow this little loop of fucking fraggled logic that doesn't seem so fraggled. If Epstein was an Israeli agent, okay? Let's say he is. We know Bibi Netanyahu has been wanting to go to war with Iran since we went to war with Iraq. Actually, I think a little bit longer, but when we went to war with Iraq the first time, I don't mean when we went to Iraq because of 9/11. Wait, was that the only time we did it? No, we were in Kuwait back with Daddy Bush. Anyway, for a long ass fucking time, I forget. There've been so many times that we irresponsibly bomb those little fucking countries over there that I lose track of what the timeline was. But it's for sure Bibi has been trying to say, yeah, they're 2 weeks from enriching uranium. That's where you have to be in order to have enough uranium to power your country, by the way. You have to just be close and have the ability, which they have never done. They have always been compliant. Okay. I'm not rooting. Well, I kind of am. But I will say, I don't think Iran has a perfect condition. I worked with an Iranian woman. She was a wonderful woman. But as I said in a previous podcast, there's a control. It's a policed state, and it's a religiously policed state. And that's really the problem. It's the wrong religion. But okay. Let's keep spinning this out. Okay. Let's say Bibi Netanyahu contacts Epstein and says, we're going to funnel a ton of money to you that we are getting from the United States. We are going to have you bring in everybody you can. I mean, the most prominent figures, and you're going to expose them so that we can exploit them. You're going to put them in compromising positions, take photographs of it, and make extensive notes of it. And then when we have everybody in this envelope of files, we're going to release some of those files. And then one of the guys at the top, or a couple of guys at the top, are going to be in those files. And we know they're going to be so vulnerable and so egomaniacal that they're going to refuse to admit it and refuse to step down. And then we'll be able to manipulate that person into joining us to go to war. And then also there's another piece of it, and we'll get into that, but I wonder about it. So that's my little circle. What if This is a 40-year game, and it's not unreasonable to think that these people think in 40-year cycles. These people think in 100, 200, 500 year, even though they don't, mostly I think probably the longest thinkers who are planning for hegemonic control are thinking in 200-year plots. I mean, they know that in 50 years, they can topple and actually take over. They know that in 100 years, you can change the economic control. In another 100 years, you can do whatever you want. So that's just kind of my thought there in Iran. Let's just see what the Independent says. Iran's new supreme leader. Oh yeah, I forgot. We want regime change. They just elected Ayatollah Khamenei's son. And so, they say we need a united front against this attack. They've been building up and waiting for it. I mean, the crazy thing is they've been building up. Something like they said that the majority of the missiles that they've used so far are old missiles from like 2002 to 2015. And they haven't even exposed their best stuff yet. So, but this was kind of funny that it says here, the new supreme leader's name appears on a missile. It's like, no. He signed the missile. He said, at your service, and signed his name. Basically, he's like, we're here for it, guys. We're here for it. We're going to fight you. And quite frankly, fuck me, I would too. Fucking bastards. Okay. Now, FBI finds explosive material in storage unit after 2 men are charged with lighting bombs in NYC. If you weren't paying attention, either was it yesterday or last week, a couple of guys threw bombs at Mamdani's house. Now, the first thing I thought was, these are frustrated homeowners who didn't want to see their house sales or property taxes go up 10%. Fucking crazy. You hike my shit 10% to pay for the bums, you go fuck yourself. Fuck you, man. That's you could see it in his eyes. He was going to fuck your shit up. I can't believe he got elected. The crazy part to me wasn't that he's a democratic socialist. The crazy part to me, I mean, technically that's what a democratic socialist would do. Take money from the middle class to pay for the poor. He didn't even bother taxing the rich. He just took from the middle. Fucking guys. Anyway, this article says that they were inspired by Islamic rhetoric. Now it makes sense. This is propaganda. This is easy peasy propageezy. Because I said, is Iran an Islamic state? And it says, yes, Iran is a Muslim country and an Islamic republic with over 95% of its population practicing Islam. Now, that may be a little bit against their will, but this is propaganda to bolster our opinion against Islam. They want to make you an Islamophobe so that they can take more money from you and bomb more Iran. Okay, very, very, very easy. I saw this. Trump says some sanctions to be lifted on oil producers amid Iran war. So where we were punishing the Russians by sanctioning oil so that countries can't buy oil from Russia's support, well, we're going to go ahead and lift some of those sanctions because in order for us to bomb, if we fuck up the global economy by shutting down the Strait of Hormuz, which is 1/5 or roughly 20% of the global oil supply comes through the Strait of Hormuz, well, then we will free it up somewhere else because I think the oil's still running this shit. I mean, what this is crazy. Okay. Why on earth would the oil companies need to jack our gas prices up because they don't have quite as much product moving? It's like, do they not have enough money? Do they not fucking have enough trillions of dollars? And they got to jack our prices? God, we just pay for it. We pay for everything. So, ladies and gentlemen, be good. It pays to be good, and it pays to work your ass off. And they're going to take it from you, but don't fall for the trap. Don't join their bullshit. Okay, last up, Epstein. I just wanted to make sure because he wasn't anywhere in the news. Epstein's nowhere in the news at all. But it says here he paid for a conference on top scientists in 2006. His motives are now clear. And what's funny is two things. First of all, when you have guys that look like these two guys right here, they're going to touch little girls if you give them a chance. I mean, are you kidding me? So the guy, Lawrence Krauss, who's a physicist, and he was a professor, right? Top universities. Had to retire amid some sexual assault allegations. Go figure. Look at this guy's face. This guy's never getting laid. He's going to do it his way. He's going to find a way to do it. Because guys are simple. And that's what this guy fucking knows. This guy right here knows that guys are simple. All they want is sex. We are primarily driven by sex only. I know. I am too. Until you reach about like 40 something. And then you go, all right, well, actually, you know what? I can't say that for sure. Because, I have been lucky. So I didn't come out with a face that looks like this fucking guy right here. Not this guy, but the other guy. So it's like if you struggle with this face in life, your innermost sexual desires at some point are going to take over and become a real demon. That's what I think. That's what I think. So, but oh yeah, so these were top scientists that Epstein paid for a conference in 2006, and it says his motives are now clear. Now I have this other thing because I have heard that I've heard it said a few times that the climate crisis isn't global warming isn't what we have to actually worry about. We have to worry about global cooling. That's when you have a real problem. Global warming means there's more water, more oxygen, heat makes things grow. So I'm not as worried about the global warming as global cooling. And so I wonder if it's possible that Epstein also was pushing global climate narratives by bringing scientists to the island and maybe trying to get some of them in on the dopamine that men get from sex. I mean, these guys all said that when they visited the island, that they chuckled and laughed about it, and there were like 5 or 10 out-of-place young women. And it's like, all right, are your names in any of these? Are these guys going to start getting accused as well? So is climate change is climate change also linked to Jeffrey Epstein? We don't know. We will never know. So adjust your shorts and pull them back down to their normal levels. Consider yourselves kicked in the dick by the news. My name is Ray Stone, and we will see you on Thursday. Bye.